abstained. Mr. Stankiewicz, who states that we were constantly dragged into the Union as a state, and they want to recreate a unified state. But the Republic stated they wanted to retain their independence, but not be isolation. So we wanted simply independence, not isolation. So the new Commonwealth is not exclusively Slavic. Entirely correct. It doesn't mean that we've created a Slavic Commonwealth. In Belarus, Ukraine, Russia, we have other non-Russian peoples, non-Slavic peoples, so that we cannot say that only the Slavic peoples have joined together. These are the peoples of these various republics, and this Commonwealth remains open for everyone. So people should know that this is not a unified state. This is precisely what is called the Commonwealth. This is the 8th session of the Supreme Soviet of Kyrgyzstan. This is Oskar Akayev, who was sworn in, putting his head on the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and likewise on the Quran. In his inaugural address, he said he would strive for democracy, peace, international accord, and to observe private property in the name of freedom and the independence of Kyrgyzstan. After the meeting in Belaruskaya Pushcha, a lot of people think that they were going to become Islamic. That's not correct, he said. So the deputies were restrained, and they laid off this part of the debate until the end, and they wanted to have a balanced evaluation of the situation. As for the President of the Republic, he understands and respects the initiative of the three republics, but at the same time, Oskar Akayev confirmed his loyalty and feelings of sympathy to the other republics. But the parliament will have to make the final decision. The leaders of Belarus, Ukraine, and Russia, and their action have not caused any particular reaction here in Turkmenistan. In Ashgabat, the majority of people think that the formulation is not so important, whether we have 8 plus 1 or 3 plus the rest. But what we really need is to extract ourselves from this dead end. As for the leadership of the Republic, it, for the time being, has occupied no specific position with regard to the political situation. I can say, give you only a few details on the basis of the newspapers with regard to the Presidential Council, which met on the 9th of December. The Council decided that the information in the statement of three republics should be carefully examined by the government of Turkmenistan and by the people's deputies, and their general opinion of this Commonwealth will be brought to the attention of the people of Turkmenistan. Today, the President of Russia, Boris Yeltsin, was handed a unique diamond which weighs 241.8 carats, which will be handed over to the Diamond Fund of Russia. And Mr. Nikolaev from Yakutia said that he confirms that Yakutia did not conceive itself being a separate entity from Russia. From now on, Yakutia will deliver its gold and diamonds to the Russian treasury. In his speech, Boris Yeltsin said that each republic should receive the degree of freedom which it wanted and considered to be most appropriate. And that would determine the amount of autonomy of the various regions within the Russian Republic. Today, the most important question what we have before us is that of economic transformation. This is a very complicated question. I have here coordinated actions with Ukraine and Belarus. I am convinced that after this, other republics and will join us, and already Kyrgyzstan and Armenia have said they're going to join. So I think we'll soon have others as well. And so I hope that they will join the agreement. This circumstance allows us to transmit an element of stability to society. So we understand the difficulties here. We want to resolve everything on a coordinated and friendly basis. The agreement on creating the Commonwealth has been ratified by the Ukrainian and Belarusian parliaments, and now the Russian parliament has just to vote. We don't run ahead, but there was a very important event today. The Minsk agreement was approved by most of the leaders of the fractions of the Supreme Soviet of Russia at a meeting with Boris Yeltsin. Probably they were influenced by the arguments of the president that it would be naive to accuse the leaders of these republics of breaking up the union after 8 other republics had already seceded. The coordinator of one fraction, Sergei Baburin, said that perhaps the situation was not all that good. He said he was convinced that the Confederation was a myth. This is a liberal illusion which might lead either to a federation or to a war. Our choice is precisely of that nature. Does that mean that you are against the center, against the union, or are you supporting the union? I support the preservation of a union-federated state, not the union. It no longer exists as it formerly did exist. But federative relations between the peoples, or at least between the Russian Federation, Belarus, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan, is the basis of our future. If we don't have that, our future is very gloomy indeed. Today, in our state, which officially no longer exists, there continue to function various structures. So things are more complicated, simply announcing sovereignty. We have monetary questions, economic control, and questions of currency. The state treasury is getting less and less foreign currency. So here the members of the Committee on the Economy have confirmed that there's hardly enough money to pay the foreign debt. There's nothing to pay. They haven't got money even to pay for shipping costs on food which is being delivered from abroad. The ships stand for a long time in our ports and then leave without being unloaded. At the same time, there's nearly $1 billion being realized as a result of operations of private companies, and much of this money is being siphoned off into foreign banks. Tomorrow, this question will be discussed at the Economic Council. The President of Moldova, Snegur, will be visiting Mr. Yeltsin. Then he will go to Minsk in Belarus and Kiev. The governor of Sakhalin, Fyodorov, said there would be a collapse of the economy and said we would needed an extraordinary situation declared. Svetlana Goryacheva has been announced, appointed the deputy prosecutor of the Republic. 400 senior party officials have been fired, 80 of them members of the Central Committee. The residents of Nagorno-Karabakh have voted for independence. This is the report received yesterday. It was a referendum from the Karabakh news agency. Our country has more refugees than any other part of the world. This is in northern Ossetia, in Vladikavkaz. People are used to refugees. They come here not only from southern Ossetia, but even more from Georgia. People are fleeing a real danger. According to our latest information, there are more than 90,000 of them. Where can they be housed? How can they be fed? How can they be provided with warmth? This is a problem which is becoming more and more difficult. This square has become a place where refugees gather from morning to night. They have no house, no roof over their heads, no money, no means for existence. People are fleeing, but they leave with empty hands. They abandon their apartments, and if they manage to sell their apartments, they get robbed on the road. And they arrived here hungry, cold, and they had no place to live. And no government is here acting to do anything for them. And no one's approaching them or doing anything for them. So we have dozens of dormitories, sanatoria which have been opened. There people are being put up in private apartments, but they keep arriving and arriving. There's no place to put them. These people have been standing here for a week, and they're living in a university dormitory. They have their small children, and these older ladies have no place. They've been unlucky. There's a special committee which has been created under the auspices of the Committee of Ministers of the Republic. Last evening in Maastricht, in Holland, an event took place which will influence